This is massive. During a media session with Tom Thibodeau, he helped provide some key updates about some of our injured players, including Karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson. He also implied that a major change is coming to the starting lineup. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. Tom Thibodeau confirms change to the starting lineup. The Knicks need to make changes, but I wasn't expecting them to make these changes so quickly. Today, Tom Thibodeau spoke to the media about these changes, and he also provided the following injury updates. Shout out to James L. Edwards with The Athletic for providing the following updates about Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart. According to him, Karl-Anthony Towns said the following about his knee. "It's cool. I got treatment on it today. We'll see how I feel tomorrow." Karl-Anthony Towns said he also practiced today. Edwards also informed us that Josh Hart was also able to practice today as well too. This is great news, especially for Karl-Anthony Towns, because he went down last game with a really bad knee injury. Though he said he got treatment on that knee. That still concerns me. But Thibs wasn't done there. He also helped provide more updates about Mitchell Robinson as well too. According to Tom Thibodeau, he said that Mitchell Robinson was very active in practice today for the Knicks. Thibodeau said the following: "It's more how he feels the next day. He's doing everything, taking contact, then he has to get clearance from medical. So it sounds like Mitchell Robinson is extremely close to returning. So close, in fact, that during practice, he blocked Cam Payne's shot, and he said right after that, 'I'm back.'" It's a funny story, but also a great story as well, too. It tells you that the Knicks are almost at full strength. This is a great update about Mitchell Robinson. We already knew he was close, but hearing he's very active in practice and doing everything, that means his return is imminent. It could be any day now. Could it be tomorrow? Could it be this weekend? Possibly, but we know he's close. We also know that once Mitchell Robinson returns, a major change is going to be happening to the starting lineup. Tom Thibodeau basically confirmed as much during the media session today when he talked about Mitchell Robinson, and he referred to him as the Knicks starting center. Shout out to Knicks videos on the app X for giving us the following information. According to Tom Thibodeau, he said the following about Mitchell Robinson: "We've gone 50-something games without our starting center. Guys have done a really good job stepping in. Could we do better? I always believe we can do better." But once again, what did Tom Thibodeau say here again? Thibodeau said, "Our starting center is out." I don't know about you guys, but for me, that is very vital information because it tells me that once Mitchell Robinson returns, he will be the starting center for this team. Not right away, because he's obviously going to be on a minutes restriction once he does return. But once he can get past that minutes restriction and he has no more limitations, it is clear, given how Tom Thibodeau has referenced him, all the reports that have come out basically indicating that the Knicks want to experiment with closing lineups that feature Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, it would beg to reason that the Knicks would likely want to see how that looks like to start off games as well too. That means you have to adjust your starting lineup. And if that's the case, the one question that comes to mind is, okay, if Robinson's coming back and Tom Thibodeau is determined to start him right alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, then what player gets removed out of the starting lineup? Honestly, the easiest answer is Josh Hart. And the main reason for that is he has experience with Tom Thibodeau playing off the bench. And with Josh Hart, it's probably not even going to affect his minutes because whether he comes off the bench or he starts, it's always about the closing lineup, the closing unit for Tom Thibodeau. And most times, Josh Hart is part of that lineup. So normally, he's playing 35, 34, 33 minutes a night, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. So I'm not worried about his minutes. And honestly, a lot of people want to see Josh Hart come off the bench anyways because they feel Hart coming off the bench adds to the bench exactly what we need. Another playmaker, somebody who can rebound the ball, who can score in transition, who's a threat at multiple levels. Josh Hart gives you that. But it also makes the starting unit a lot longer, a lot taller. That means you're going to have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson potentially as your starting lineup. That lineup is huge. It's big. They're not only blocking shots, they're getting in the passing lane. They're stopping everything any other team wants to do because that length, it's not imaginary. It exists, and they're going to make sure you feel them whether you're trying to penetrate or you're trying to create a shot outside. Either way, this type of Knicks team with this starting lineup, they're going to be able to cause damage. But they cannot abuse the starting lineup either because there is a weakness. I've spoken about it before. It's their speed. We're already one of the slowest paced teams in the league. You go with this starting lineup, you basically double down on that fact because Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, yes, inside, yes, they're going to help you with rebounds. And Mitchell Robinson, he's going to anchor that defense. But on the other end, on offense, a lot of times, if they're playing great defense on the other end, they're going to be slow to come back, slow running up the court. That means 3-on-5. Tom Thibodeau must be smart in how he employs this lineup. In my opinion, I wouldn't start this lineup each and every time. I would do it against certain matchups. And you know who agrees with me regarding this particular point? Josh Hart himself. Shout out to the Roommate Show and also JD Sports Talk for giving us the following information. In this clip, Josh Hart talks about playing Cleveland and potentially what lineup changes should be made in that matchup. According to JD Sports Talk, under the radar comment from Josh Hart himself here, he says, if the Knicks are facing off against Cleveland, it may better serve the Knicks to start Mitchell Robinson at the 5 and have Josh Hart come off the bench. Hart is willing to sacrifice for the objective. I absolutely agree with that as well, too. Josh Hart is willing to do whatever it takes for this Knicks team to win games. If that means he starts, he starts. If that means he comes off the bench, he comes off the bench. I would love if the Knicks made this adjustment, but only if they make this adjustment against certain teams. Like Josh Hart just said, against Cleveland, against Boston, you want to put Mitch at the 5 and see how that looks? By all means, do that. I would love to see it. But against other teams, maybe teams that play a little bit smaller, maybe you don't do that. Maybe you play the Knicks' traditional starting lineup that we've been doing all season long and have Mitchell Robinson come off the bench. Again, it's all about adjustments. And if you make the right adjustments as a coach, this Knicks team will be even more dangerous. We have the talent on this team to be considered a championship contender. The problem is we're not playing like a championship contender. I fully believe if you put players in better situations to thrive, this Knicks team will elevate, will step up, will take that next step into greatness. One of the moves that I have been saying for a while now is to put Mikal Bridges more with the bench unit. Does that mean I want the Knicks to bench Mikal Bridges? No, I just want Mikal to play the RJ Barrett role. What I mean by that is play Mikal Bridges a few minutes in the first quarter, sub him out, and then in the second quarters and the fourth quarters, play him with the bench unit. He gets more opportunity. He gets the ball in his hand. Everybody thrives. Everybody's happy. And that's the type of move Tom Thibodeau and this Knicks staff needs to start making. Because if these moves are made, this Knicks team will be that threat in the playoffs, will be that team that nobody wants to see. But in order for us to be that team, we have to start acting like that team, practicing like that team, and making adjustments and changes that championship contenders would make. These are the type of things the Knicks need to do moving forward. Tom Thibodeau needs to be the one to employ these type of changes. And if one of those changes is changing the starting lineup, I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as we have a reason to do it. But one thing is clear. Changes are coming, returns are happening, and players are starting to get healthy once again. That means this Knicks team is finally, for the first time this season, extremely close to being at full health and at full strength. But what about you guys? What do you think about Tom Thibodeau's comments about Mitchell Robinson being very active today in practice? And he also said that Mitchell Robinson is likely going to be the starting center for New York once he returns. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.